friends, how's it going? It's me, Betty Jean. Today is going to be the first installment of my color theory series. A lot of you have been kind of asking for a little while, off and on, about doing some kind of color theory related video, and I can't do it in just one video. There's no way. It would be hours long. So we're gonna break it down and do every single color. I plan on eventually doing foundation as well, and then maybe more overall stuff. I'll kind of do it as I go. But what we're gonna do today is break down the color yellow. A couple of you asked me to do yellow first, and yellow is my favorite color, so I am more than happy to do yellow first. I love working with yellow, wearing yellow, looking at yellow, everything yellow. I have a bunch of notes right here so I can stay on topic. What we're gonna talk about first though is this guy right here. This is the color wheel. Some of you might already have some knowledge on the color wheel, some of you might not, but this is what the color wheel looks like. The colors are in rainbow order for a reason. There is an order to it. It goes from warm all the way to cool, and then it just goes back around. The color that is opposite is its complementary color. When those two colors meet, it turns neutral. So for instance, yellow, the opposite is purple. That's why you don't see a whole lot of yellow to purple blend, because when it blends, it turns muddy, hence neutrally brownish, you know what I mean? And then so forth, orange and blue are opposite, red and green are opposite, but we will get into those later. It can be done to do a yellow to purple look, but to do so, you have to worry about creating the blend of all these colors in between yellow to purple, whether it's one way or the other. If you wanted it to lean more cool toned, you would have to have some way to incorporate greens and blues and then so on into purple. And then if you wanted your look to be more warm toned, you would bring it from yellow to orange to red to purple. Do you get what I'm saying? It is possible, of course, to jump in between the colors a little bit more. My favorite way to wear high contrast colors such as yellow to purple is to do it as a pop of color. Whether it's doing a full-blown yellow look on the upper lid and then smoking out a ton of purple in the lower lash line because they don't have to blend, or doing a fully purple look with pop of yellow in the inner corner. That is a really easy way to do it as well. Another favorite of mine is to do, say, a heavy purple look and then cut the crease and then have a heavy pop of yellow across the crease, because cut creases don't involve a blend. It's supposed to be cut, you know? And again, you can blend in between yellow and purple. I think it was in my Anastasia Subculture 3 Looks 1 palette, I was able to do a yellow to purple look. However, I did lay down kind of a brown color in between so it could easily blend both directions, you know? I didn't have just yellow to purple because you can't really go from yellow to purple and expect that blend to be seamless. To break down the color wheel a little bit more, there are three primary colors. You cannot make these colors by mixing any other colors, and that is yellow, blue, and red. Blue and red are also fairly hard to use with yellow just because, again, there are a lot of colors kind of in between, but it's a lot easier to blend too because it's really only one color in between. To go from blue to yellow, it's just a matter of putting in some green, and then to go from yellow to red, it's just a matter of putting in some orange. I personally love working with primary colors, but again, that's one of those situations where you're gonna have those stark contrasts. You're not really gonna have a seamless yellow to blue to red blend, because that's not really how it works. It's super easy to create looks that go from yellow to green or yellow to orange because they are right next to each other on the color wheel. It is super easy to create that blend. You don't have to work too hard at all. And then the easiest ways to wear yellow that I feel like are the most wearable, and I don't like that word because if you can wear it, it's wearable, but the most wearable, socially acceptable ways to wear yellow are to work them in with browns, or to use mustards, or even golds. There are beautiful gold shimmers and glitters. That's a really easy way to kind of play with yellows. Even though it's not really yellow, it's gold, and browns aren't really yellow, they're brown. They're really easy to work with it. And with that being said, I feel like yellow is the easiest rainbow color to work with in that sense for someone who is new to playing with color, because it's really easily incorporated into those neutrals. You know what I mean? So I just want to keep on the topic of the blends of colors. I'm going to use my arm right here and I'm going to show you firsthand what it's like to blend exactly yellow to purple, and then yellow to red, yellow to blue, so on and so forth. What I'm going to do is lay down some purple right here. I don't have my arm primed or anything because it doesn't matter. I'm going to dip my brush in the yellow, and we are going to blend right on top, and you are going to watch it turn into a muddy color. It's not going to be a pretty color. I'm going to dip into a little more yellow, but you can already see it's turning very bruise-like. It's very odd. It's not a pretty color. It's not a color that you would want on your eye necessarily. It's very muddy. It's not good, but that's what happens when you blend purple and yellow together. Next, we're gonna take blue and yellow, and I'm gonna use both of these blues from the Ace Beaute Slice of Paradise palette. We are gonna put them down here. And then I'm just gonna take the same yellow from the Zulu palette so we can use the same yellow so you can see. We're gonna blend right on top of this blue, and you're gonna see it's gonna turn into a darker green color. Wow, science! You can even see on my brush it's turned green, but instantly green. And that's what happens when you blend yellow and blue together, and I'm just gonna do it with the lighter blue just so you can see, but it's gonna do the same thing. It's just gonna be a slightly different shade of greenish. If anything, this will be a little bit more of a good transition because this lighter blue is closer to the green side than that darker blue. That darker blue is closer to the purple side. But see, turns into a light green. Next, what we're gonna do is green. And I'm just gonna use the green from the Slice of Paradise palette. It's kiwi, it really doesn't matter, but it's a green. We're gonna take that. I'm gonna take my little brush here with that same yellow from the Zulu palette, and we are gonna blend right on top of that, and you'll see it'll turn to a really pretty yellow-green. That's the optimal blend between green and yellow. It's perfect. This is actually really fun to look at. Skipping over to the warmer side, we're gonna do orange, and I'm just gonna take the orange from the Zulu palette. And again, this is a really easy one that's gonna transition well into yellow. So we're gonna pop that yellow from the Zulu palette right on top, and it's gonna create a really pretty yellow-orange color. And obviously dipping in again, we'll just lighten it some more, but it creates that perfect yellow-orange color. See? And last, we're gonna do some red. I'm gonna take, I think this is called Love Plus from Sugar Pill. And red is, again, a primary color like blue. Blue is also primary. So we're gonna mix that with the yellow from the Zulu palette, go right over top, and it's gonna turn into a orangey color. Isn't that crazy? I love looking at it this way because I feel like it makes a lot more kind of connections in your mind on kind of what the colors do when you blend them together. So this is why you don't blend your complementary color together, because it just turns muddy. All these other ones turn into these really pretty colors. They're nice, still vibrant, they're doing their thing, you know? I hope that breaks down kind of why you should or shouldn't blend certain colors together. And again, there's those rules you can break by doing pops of color, high contrast with cut creases, things like that. But as far as getting an actual seamless blend, those are kind of the things to follow. So now what I want to do is go over my favorite yellow eyeshadows in my palettes, and then we're going to break down and do this yellow look that you see right here. First one I want to talk about is the Classical Paradise from Ace Beaute. I love this one for yellows. I used a lot of these in the eye look today, but Maize is a perfect, just sunshiny kind of yellow. Golden Apple is really, really nice when wanting to deepen up looks and make them a little more cool toned, because it is a mustardy yellow, but it's green toned. It's a little olivey, so it works really well playing off of yellows. And I love Sunflower because it's a shimmery yellow. I go over this in the tutorial portion, but there's not a lot of shimmery yellows out there. Most of them are gold. Next is the Venus 2. I really like mustard in this. It's just the most perfect mustard shade. This is perfect for deepening up yellow looks, creating a little bit more of that grunge factor. One of everybody's favorites is Sugar Pill Butter Cupcake. It is so bright, it's so pigmented, it's just beautiful. Love that color. From the Ace Beaute Slice of Paradise palette, we have Daffodil, and I find this to be a little bit more of a cool toned yellow. I will get into that after I talk about all these shades, but this one just leans a little more neon-y greenish. It's not green by any means, but compared to all the other ones, this one is a little bit more cool toned. From the Juvia's Place Zulu palette, I love this yellow shade. That's what I used in all those swatches you just saw. It just works really, really well. All of these yellows blend out really well and offer a lot of pigmentation. I'm not gonna swatch all of them because honestly, you don't need to see that. Swatches aren't what matters. Just trust me, I went through all of my palettes and picked my favorite yellows. Sunny from the Give Me Glow Summer Vibes palette is right here. I'm pretty sure this one is sold separately, but this is a really good yellow, and it's a little bit deeper, but still bright, so I really like incorporating this as a deepening shade. From the Colourpop Yes Please palette, I love this yellow. Love, love, love this yellow. I think this was my first favorite yellow, actually. I think this palette is what made me fall in love with yellow, to be honest with you. And I'm pretty sure this palette's only $16, and you also get a really bomb palette. From the Menagerie Cosmetics Feral palette, Night Eyes is a beautiful yellow. I love working with this. I wore this for a look that I filmed yesterday. That'll be up next week. And yeah, it's just a good yellow. It's very vibrant. From the Strove Cosmetics Divinity palette, I like Ocean, if that's how you say it properly. I like this because it's kind of in between a vibrant yellow and a mustard, so I really like using this. I mean, I like using all of these. I'm not going to keep repeating that. But I just like this because it's in between kind of a deeper mustard and a vibrant yellow. And last, this palette's highly controversial, but this is the Armed and Gorgeous palette from the Jaclyn Hill Vault collection. I personally like this palette. I don't experience issues with it, but I really like Access, and I feel like this is a really good palette to kind of play with using yellows in different ways because it has those oranges, it has that green, so it's a really easy one to kind of flow with. This is a really good color story for yellow. A palette that I adore but I don't think was necessarily set up great is the Anastasia Subculture palette, and I only don't think that because they put the yellow and the purple right next to each other. So I feel like to somebody who doesn't necessarily know better, they might go in thinking you can just use these together, and you really can't because it'll turn muddy. But that's all I really have to say about that. Those are my favorite yellows. I want to know what your favorite yellows are for sure because I'm always looking for good yellows. The very last thing I want to talk about are cool and warm toned yellows. The cool tone colors are gonna look more like this. They're gonna lean a little more green. I feel like they're gonna be a little more neon as far as the bright ones go, but they're just gonna look a little more greenish. Whereas the warm toned ones are just gonna look more sunny, lean a little more orange. You get what I'm saying? And then when you see them together, you can see the distinctual difference. These ones almost look sickly in comparison just because they're leaning green. I like using both. I personally don't have a lot of cool toned yellows. Again, I feel like my only true cool toned yellow is the Slice of Paradise one that's really bright, and also that golden apple one from the Classical Paradise, both from Ace Beaute. I don't know if it's pronounced Ace Beaute. I did a live recently and one of you told me that that's how you pronounce it, and I think it's cute, so whether it's right or not, that's what I'm gonna call it. Whew, that was a lot of information. I hope that wasn't too overwhelming. I hope that was informative, but now we're gonna go and do this little look right here. I was just kind of showing you how to kind of create that gradient with adding depth to kind of create a really good pulled together look, but keeping it yellow, you know? So let's go do that look now. Now that all that information is out there, we're going to create a look playing with some yellows. I know somebody is going to say something about the fact that I don't do a certain color combo, but my goal now is to obviously have yellow be the showcase, and that's kind of about it. I really want to play with yellow being the showcase. I'm gonna start with what we were saying about like those darker, more mustardier yellows, and I'm gonna take Golden Apple from the Ace Beaute palette. And I'm just taking that on a small blending brush, and I'm just gonna start tucking this in the crease. I like this shade because it does lean a little more on the green side of mustardy yellows. So this would be a really perfect shade if you wanted to go for like a yellow to green look and you wanted it to still be really grungy and deep and didn't want it to just be like springtime. You know what I mean? I feel like this is a very olivey mustard. I think that's a good way to describe it. I'm also gonna wing this out just a tad bit for the heck of it. Now I'm just gonna pull out Maze right here, and I have a slightly bigger blending brush, and we're just gonna blend right above that just to create that gradient from that olivey mustard into yellow. I'm also taking this fairly high into my brow bone area, mostly just because I've been doing that a lot lately. I'm just taking that brush we used with the Golden Apple shade just to blend a little more. I don't have any more product on the brush either. I'm just diffusing. I just like to go back and forth between the brushes as I'm kind of going with it, just to create as soft of a blend as possible. I think I want to cut the crease out to showcase that sunflower shade because I feel like it's the only shimmery yellow I have. I have a lot of shimmery golds, but that one's the only shimmery yellow. So what I'm gonna do is just pack a little bit more of that Golden Apple shade just right here in the outer corner because I only want to do a half cut crease. And I might not even do a cut crease actually. I might just pack the shade all over the lid so it's just kind of soft, and then you can see it kind of blend into the Golden Apple shade. I'm just taking that same little brush we've been using, and I'm gonna smoke out Golden Apple all under my lower lash line. I hope my talk through with this look is going over well. There's so much information and there's so many things that I could say as far as working with yellows. I wanted this look to be fairly grungy and obviously yellow, but I didn't want it to just look like sunshine yellow. I wanted it to have depth and dimension like a traditional look would, like any kind of glamorous, grungy-ish kind of look would, but with yellow tones. So now I want to make the lower lash line a little grungier, a little more mustardy, so I'm going to take the shade Mustard from the Lime Crime Venus 2 palette, and I'm just taking a slightly bigger blending brush, but not as big as the one we used before for the brighter yellow. We're just taking this right under the lower lash line. And I totally could have done this in between the two shades we did in the crease before, but I just didn't, so this is what we're doing. Sometimes I like when the lower lash line has a little bit more dimension to it anyways, because you know me, I like a smoked out, blown out, grunged out look. So now I just have the brush with Golden Apple, no additional color on it. I'm just depthing it. Depthing, that's a word. Just kind of like how I went back through with the brush in the crease before. I'm just taking really any shadow brush, and I'm gonna take Sunflower from the Ace Beaute palette. I don't have it wet or anything. I'm just packing it on. I just think the shade is so cool because, like I said, I really don't have any shimmery yellows. Companies don't really make that. It's always gold. Now that that's kind of packed on, I'm just going back through with that brush we used for Golden Apple. No additional product, just to, you know, blend it out. And for the inner corner, I'm just going to pop that same shade in my inner corner. Wow, that was a lot. So I'm just gonna blend that out. And I mean, that's it for this look. Obviously, you could do a million other things with yellows. I was just trying to do, I don't know what I was trying to do. I was just trying to showcase different ways to use yellow without it just looking like you just splattered yellow all over your eye, or without it just looking like you smudged one eyeshadow all over your eye while still keeping that yellow vibe. So what I'm gonna do now is do the other eye, most likely throw on liner, lashes, and then we can finish this video up. All right, that's it. That's the end of this video. Hopefully it's not too long. I know it's longer than most of my videos, but there's a lot of information to give out. Let me know which color you want to see next, and if you have any more questions relating to yellow, please let me know. I would be happy to answer it to the best of my ability. I think I covered everything that I wanted to cover, but let me know if you have any questions. Let me know how you're liking this color theory series. I hope it came out okay. Obviously I haven't watched the footage back yet, but I liked filming it actually. I liked kind of being a teacher for a minute there. If you're not already, please hop over to my Instagram and follow me there. It's beautbean. I post every single day, and don't forget to subscribe here before you leave. I post every Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. Let me know what videos you want to see on my channel. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.